Hello everyone, welcome back to Life Stories, yet another installment. Glad to be here. My name's Trent. We got more stories coming from Reddit / I don't work here lady. As usual, let's get started. Our first story is titled, The Student Has Become the Master. It's the early 2000s, and I'm a senior in high school. My graduating class had 800 students in it, and the school itself was a massive campus, broken up into around 6 buildings. The first day of my senior year, we spent the entire day in homeroom. We would only visit homeroom maybe 3 or 4 times a year at this school. It was just an easy way to break the student body up into manageable groups. If every student has to do a thing, line up by the homeroom. If a teacher needs an arbitrary way to break up the class into groups, homeroom building letter. Want to check out a book, name, and homeroom. Want tickets to prom, school, ID, and homeroom. School needs to make everyone watch a presentation. For 1 hour, please go to homeroom. For all this homeroom talk, we actually sat in the room twice my senior year, and in the case of my room in particular, only once. So, it's the first day of school. I have my schedule in hand, and I'm headed to my homeroom, room A003. So, A building, in the basement, room 3. There it is. I sit down well before the bell and manage to snag the last of 16 desks in this broom closet of a room. Shortly thereafter, we're standing room only, and by the time the first bell rings, we upgrade to 1 sardine tin worth of students, 36 students, 16 desks. We haven't even gotten to that class yet, but things are not adding up. My homeroom teacher stands in the doorway, takes one look at his sardine students, and says, "Nope. Everyone out into the hallway." So, we all march out of our clown car classroom. The teacher then takes us to room A004, which is over twice the size and has plenty of desks. The teacher tells us, "Just write A004 on your schedules. If you're asked your homeroom number, say A003, but if you're told to go to homeroom, come here instead." Fast forward 1 school year. It's the last day of school. Now, for obvious reasons, no sane teacher in this district would think to demand a class of seniors do anything on the last day of high school other than watch the clock. We are sent to homeroom. Now, I just so happened to measure in at 6'2", and my hard-grown peach fuzz beard had matured into a wonderful dark brown. All those nights of standing in the mirror using sheer willpower to make it grow had more than paid off. And the icing on this cake was the fact that I had elected. Okay. So we had some family stuff to go to, and I would have to leave the school and drive to said family stuff directly. So I was dressed in my Sunday best. A full-sleeve collared button-down with slacks and my nice leather formal shoes. These 3 things became the trifecta for this series of events. The bell rings, and no teacher. Okay, maybe he's late. 10 minutes after the bell. Maybe he's really late. 15. 30. So, there was nothing but chaos in this classroom. Everyone doing whatever they wanted, with no holds barred. I elected to doodle in my notebook, like the cultured young adult I was pretending to be. That is when my pencil broke. So I get up and head over to the pencil sharpener and get to sharpening. I stop and admire my handiwork when there's a knock on the door. This kills half the noise in the room. I open the door to find an older, 5 foot not an inch more, looking up 14 inches at me. She hastily explains that her class is missing. Before I get a word in, she shows me a piece of paper. She's a substitute teacher, and she's subbing for our homeroom teacher. The class is down to hushed whispers, as everyone is listening. I just look at this poor woman as she explains that all the children just haven't shown. Not a single one. Is this A building? This is A003, right? At this time, one of my more quick-thinking classmates raises her hand and says, "Mr. OP?" This clues me in, and all 3 pieces click into place. I excuse myself and address the class, asking them to please keep it down and pull out their health books. Page 107. Without a single misstep, my comrades in arms all grab their books and turn to the page. Not one word is uttered for fear of breaking the voodoo that we were casting. My fate as the teacher of A004 was sealed at that point. I give the substitute instructions to get to the main office and tell her to double-check the assignment. She hurries off, and I turn to my class. For a few terrible minutes, no one breathes. Then we hear the sound of someone ascending the stairs out of the basement. We all burst into laughter. Now begins Phase 2, sealing the deal. A few students rush up and scribble health-related notes up on the whiteboard. I grab my health book, turn to the fateful page, wouldn't you know it, Human Growth and Development. Nice. A watcher keeps an eye on the hallway. Sure enough, 20 or so minutes later, the sub returns, and she's not alone. One of the principals is along for the ride. They examined A003. No kids. We panic. A principal was not part of the plan. The largest kid in the class jumps up. "My time to shine," he says. He grabs his book and stands in the front of the class. He all but obscures me from view. The door opens and the principal sticks her head in the room. Big Kid is halfway through describing the precise medical definition of a particular part of the male body. Not the one you're probably thinking of, by the way. And without even a double take, the principal is gone. Victory. We spend the remaining 6 or so hours of class completely unsupervised. It truly was the best day of my high school career. Laziness through unity. This is what I like to see, people. Can we get more stories like this? Come on. Moving on, our next story is titled, Let Me Guess, You Don't Work Here Either. I work in a mall, and our store has carpet floors and the worst vacuum, so I usually borrowed the vacuum from the neighboring greeting card store. I went over one day to ask for it, and while the cashier grabbed it from the back for me, I waited by the door. This lady came up and started saying, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me," over and over in a monotone voice to me. Being spaced out, didn't really realize she was talking to me until she tapped me on the shoulder. She seemed annoyed and asked if we'd sold playing cards. I said, "Oh, I don't work here, sorry, but I don't think they do." She completely ignored me and turned to the door to the back of the room and started saying, "Excuse me," over and over again. Louder, but still monotone. I said, "The cashier is just in the back grabbing something for me. She'll be back in a minute." The woman then starts opening the door to the back room, and I told her she shouldn't do that. She huffed at me and said, "I thought you didn't work here." The cashier came out with the vacuum and told her no, they don't sell playing cards, and I went back to my store. About 10 minutes later, I'm organizing my own store, and this same woman comes in. She takes one look at me and says, "Let me guess, you don't work here either?" I said I did work here and asked if she needed any help with anything. She said, "If you're at work, why are you wandering around other stores?" and walked out again. After I was sure she was gone, of course, I went back to our neighboring store and told the cashier what happened, and we had a good laugh about her. You know what? Short, sweet, no confrontation, that's good. Our next story is titled, Wholesome GameStop, I Don't Work Here Lady. Oh, we got a wholesome one. Nice. This happened just earlier today. I was checking my GameStop app on my phone when I noticed that I had an offer for $5 off any item. So I decided to stop by the store that was close to where I worked once my shift was over. I browsed the Switch games for a cheap game that I might like, before remembering that there was a sale going on for buy two, get one pre-owned games. It was around this time that a family of a mom, a dad, and their 2 young sons, they looked about 5 and 3 years old, came into the store, also looking through Switch games. Eventually, the mom looks to me and asks if I know about this stuff. Yes, finally, my time has come. She asks me the difference between New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and Super Mario Maker 2. I explained that the former was a full game on its own, while in the latter, you can make your own levels and play levels other people have played. She thanked me and decided to get New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. A little more time passes, and the family must have also caught wind of the buy two, get one deal, because the same lady asked me what the policy for pre-owned games is. I just smile and reply with, "I don't work here." The lady then apologizes for asking so many questions, but I reassured her that it was fine. In honesty, I was actually happy to not only be of assistance, but also put my gaming knowledge to good use. She said it was a good thing I knew my stuff, to which I shrugged and said, "I like Nintendo." The lady smiled and said, "Don't we all?" I don't remember what the family got, but I settled on pre-owned copies of Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, Okamiden, and Bravely Second. Yo, Bravely Second's so good! And anyways, with that out of the way, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in. Nice, wholesome end there. Kind of nice change of pace from, battling Karens and angry old people and stuff. As usual, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way. My name is Trent. This has been Life Stories, and I'll see you guys later.